Good afternoon and welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. Learn more about priority checking by visiting one of their offices in Monroe, West Monroe, Ruston, or across Ashley County. And thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. A smidge early. Usually wait till right around 5 o'clock, but hopping in just a smidge early, as I've mentioned multiple times today. It is our wedding anniversary, so we're hoping to head out to dinner tonight and just enjoy the evening. But it is a very warm one across the area, especially where we haven't seen the rain. And the rain has been fairly spotty as we've gone into the afternoon hours. We've had storms in and around the area, mostly on kind of the outer fringes of the region as we've worked through the afternoon. Quick check of the satellite as we start to lose daylight, and we're losing that faster and faster as the days continue to get shorter and shorter from here on in as this is the first official day, the autumnal equinox, if you will. Obviously, meteorologically, we don't look at it that way. We just block it off in months. And the reason we do that is because it's easier. That's the only explanation. Let's take a look at the radar. Again, radar products made possible by Brown's Roofing, brownsroofingla.com. And not a whole lot, as I mentioned, in our area. We did have one little potent thunderstorm earlier moving through portions of Dallas County and that kind of wandered through far northern reaches of Ouachita and Calhoun counties. That storm is now moving toward Hampton and is continuing to kind of fizzle out as it moves off to the south and east. It did look fairly menacing earlier as it moved toward Highway 79, toward Bearden and some of those surrounding areas. Had a significant weather advisory, which is not a severe thunderstorm warning, but it's just kind of letting you know, hey, there's something out there that you need to be aware of. And that was earlier, and that storm has kind of dissipated since then. Have a few clusters of storms making their way along generally across northern sections of Concordia Parish and the northeastern Catahoula Parish, generally traveling along 425, Winsboro, Gilbert, Wisner, some of those regions, Clayton, Faraday, Vidalia, could all be seeing some scattered storms over the next little bit. Most of this looks to be fairly limited. Now kind of crawling north of Highway 425 or northeast and moving off to the northeast. But again, some gusty winds could be had there. And what did I do? I confused the radar. Now let's go back to the southern parishes and a look at a few of the outflow-driven thunderstorms that we're seeing just to the west of Alexandria. As I show you this, I also kind of throw it out as the possibility you see some of the outflow boundaries moving northward, some of those green lines, shock waves, if you will, from some of those thunderstorms. That could propel some isolated stuff through the rest of the afternoon and early evening in our southern parishes. But for more, obviously, on central Louisiana weather, I always encourage Nick Mikulas, Senlaw Weather. He's very active on social media, and he's a great follow if you're looking for more intense information about central Louisiana weather. If you frequent there, you travel there a lot, or if that's where you live and you've found me but you haven't found him for whatever reason, make sure that you give him a follow because, again, great information there. Some of the rain-cooled air has made its way into Camden, 84 there, 89 in El Dorado. Karen says it's quite pleasant in western Union County. Good news to hear. 93 in Monroe, 93 Bastrop, 85 in Lake Providence. So there's some rain-cooled spots here and there. Others have missed out on the rain, and it's quite the steamy afternoon. Winds have been very persistent out of the south today. We have some cooler air that's pulled up to the north from some earlier thunderstorms that's trying to move southward, and you kind of see the winds just out of our area to the north that kind of split in different directions. That's some of that cold pool, if you will. But for most of us, it's just been winds out of the south pretty steady through the course of the day. SatRad shows over the last 6 hours how things have evolved against some spotty storms along the coastline, and we've had some storms pulse up and down here and there across portions of central Arkansas and into northern Mississippi. In fact, I believe there's a severe thunderstorm warning out just to the northeast of our area, and some stronger storms wandering through there. Look at the Futurecast, made possible by Bayou Power Sports, and as we go through the overnight, again, rain chances are not expected to be that much of a headache. Keep an eye out for the little isolated bubble-up storms as we go through the day tomorrow. And then the front starts to make its way into our region late Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. You kind of see how the storms start trying to act up and move into the region during the pre-dawn hours on Wednesday. Not expecting necessarily an overwhelming amount of severe thunderstorms, but a rogue strong to severe storm can't be ruled out. And then you notice as we get into the day on Wednesday, a lot of the areas just kind of relegated to showers as those early rounds of storms start to fizzle out. But then in the southern parishes and counties in our coverage area, there's the possibility that there's enough daytime heating so that some of that stuff could kind of flare back up during the early parts of the afternoon. That would be, again, mainly in the southeastern sections of the coverage area, but something that we'll watch as we go through the day on Wednesday. Severe weather threat for today, again, generally stays to our northwest. Tomorrow, it is the northwestern half or third of our coverage area, mainly in the form of wind gusts as we head into the early morning hours of Wednesday. And again, not to get into the weeds about these severe weather outlooks, but they're actually issued from morning to morning. So this threat window technically includes Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. And then the rest of the day Wednesday is this outlook, and that includes pretty much the entire area. So essentially split out from late Tuesday night through Wednesday, the entire region has the chance for a rogue strong to severe storm as this cold front moves through. Not expected to be a widespread severe weather outbreak or anything like that. The ingredients will favor some stronger wind gusts with some of these storms. And again, as we get deeper into the fall months, that's going to be a little bit more of a frequent thing that we have to deal with. The excessive rain outlook, the flash flood risk, whatever you want to call it, shows the potential for some periods of heavy rainfall. Obviously, storm-driven rains on top of some fairly dry soil doesn't really allow for a lot of absorption, so a lot of that just kind of runs off. It's not necessarily ideal in that regard, and something we'll watch as we go into the day on Wednesday. Check of the tropical satellite, and Gabrielle is now a Category 4 hurricane for a storm that for a while we were wondering if it was even going to survive because of the dry air and shear, has blossomed quite quickly over the last 3 to 4 days over the Atlantic. You can see it passing fairly firmly off to the east of Bermuda, but as you move into the northern Atlantic and then eventually some of the islands and into northwestern sections into Europe, that they may be dealing with some type of subtropical system down the line. But again, maximum sustained winds at 140 miles per hour. Expected to see a gradual weakening trend as it sees a less favorable environment. The Azores could deal with this storm as a Category 1 hurricane or some kind of subtropical hybrid storm, but either way, going to be a headache for a lot of those folks. And then also back to the south, as I made mention earlier today, we have two other threat areas, if you will, whatever you want to call them. These getting a little bit closer to the east coast of the United States. Not necessarily a threat for the Gulf coastal regions, but for the east coast, something to watch over the next 7 days. These are the culprits that are driving those concerns to tropical waves making their way through the central Atlantic. Obviously, something worth watching, although not necessarily immediate threats for our area. Just a reminder that the tropical season is still a menacing factor in the forecast at times. Lows tonight, low 70s, clouds linger. A spotty storm can't be ruled out, but the rain chances overnight drop down to 10%. Christian says, oh boy, here comes fall severe weather season. This is I'm afraid, usually just kind of an appetizer. October and November is when it tends to get really, really weird, especially late October into November. But every season's different, so we'll wait and see. Betty, good evening as well. Afternoon highs tomorrow, back into the low to mid-90s. I've dropped the rain chances, had them at 20%, bumped them up to 30% midday, dropped them back down to 20% with this afternoon, late afternoon update. Winds will be out of the south, but again, a stray shower or storm can't be possible. I think the better ingredients will be along the coastline with the sea breeze stuff, and then there'll be a better organized potential for storms along the advancing front, which won't move into our area until late tomorrow night into early Wednesday. So look at the 7-day forecast, still holding pretty steady with some solid rain chances on Wednesday. Thursday, some lingering showers as well, as the forecast still calls for at least some rainfall to linger and some cloud cover to linger through the day on Thursday. Best chances of rain Thursday will be in the southern sections of the coverage area. I think generally south of I-20, maybe even farther south than that. Mid-80s with sunshine Friday, upper 80s Saturday. Clouds may trickle back in early parts of next week, but that should also be a somewhat cooler, drier air mass for us to enjoy for the upcoming weekend. And after what could be a rainy middle part of the week, not necessarily something that is a bad thing for much of the area. Janet, good evening. Karen, thanks so much for joining the Digital Weather Desk, powered by CenturyNext Bank, which is a digital weather platform serving 33 parishes and counties across northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, and western Mississippi. It's made possible 100% free to you by the local businesses that you see there on your screen. You do your part by hopping in and joining the forecasts, whether it be on a daily basis or just when the weather is impacting you. Follow us on your favorite social media platforms and support our local business partners when and if possible. Again, I'll continue to keep an eye on the radar this evening, just in case something pops up storm-wise, but we're probably on the downward trend as we head through the next few hours. And then really all attention turns to the cold front midweek and what it poses in terms of storm risks, rain totals, and stuff like that, and some much-needed rain for much of the area as well. Until then, obviously, you can always keep an eye on the radar yourself at digitalweatherdesk.com. You can also input your zip code or whatever city, state information and get a forecast. And if it's in the area, it is tied specifically to the forecast that you see here. So check that out. Again, digitalweatherdesk.com. Enjoy the rest of the evening. As long as nothing gets crazy, I'll see you back here first thing tomorrow morning